All right, so there's guys out there who train for years and they look exactly the same. You see them on the first day at the gym, and maybe you see them at the same gym 3 years later, and they look the same, right? And they're gonna blame it on, oh, it's my bad genetics, bro, or whatever. They have a million and one excuses, and these guys don't get anywhere. Whereas there's other guys out there who decide they want to put on slabs of muscle, and they follow the tried and tested path. They avoid some common mistakes, and they do it with ease. I'm going to talk about what I think is the difference here and some of the most common mistakes I made. I truly believe if you avoid these mistakes, you'll be able to get from, my goal was to get from point A, where I was skinny fat, to point B, a sexy aesthetic physique. And it took me quite a bit of time. And I truly believe if you avoid these mistakes, it will take you significantly less time. So I hope this video helps you out. Without further ado, let's dive into it. I remember clearly when I first started this whole fitness thing, right? I was sitting in my office at the job I was doing at the time, and the dollar store was a minute walk away. So I'm walking to the dollar store, get in there, go straight to the food aisle, and guess what I buy? A big bag of chips, right? I take this bag of chips, take it to the counter, come back to my office, open it up, and I'm eating it. And this was my kind of point of view at the time, my mentality at the time is just eat anything inside, anything that I could eat, I should eat, right? And this leads me to mistake number one. You don't need to eat big to get big. You only really need a slight to moderate caloric surplus, right, in order to build muscle. And part of the issue here is these people in bodybuilding forums or even maybe at the gym who say, oh, you have to eat big to get big, bro. Eat everything in sight, bro. It's off season, bro. You got to enjoy it, bro. Lee Priest did it, bro. Lee Priest did it. Lee Priest, I don't know if he ever was Mr. Olympia, but if he wasn't, he was damn close. Lee Priest, like top 0.01% of bodybuilders, right? Just because he's doing something doesn't mean that we should do it, right? So again, these people are giving us a train of thought that doesn't serve us in the long run. Lee Priest has phenomenal genetics, better than mine and yours and 99% of the population. Maybe everything that applies to him doesn't apply to us, right? Now, the next mistake I remember is I'm starting along with my fitness journey, and I don't really know how to do like nutrition, workouts, etc. So I'm browsing Reddit, browsing like bodybuilding forums, right? Trying to figure out how do you do this shit. And some of the advice on these forums is absolutely horrific, right? Horrific. Some of the worst advice you can ever imagine. It's like, oh, you want to get aesthetic, bro? Just do a strong list, bro. Do 5x5s, bro, and drink a gallon of milk a day, bro. Like, no, take that thought, throw out the window. All right, we don't listen to those people. If you ever like the people who are perpetuating this advice, if you go look at their profile, they usually have no photos up, and they haven't walked the aesthetic path themselves yet. They're trying to teach us how to do it. Again, they're giving us a train of thought that's just not going to serve us, right? Our goal is to build a sexy aesthetic physique. For that, with the strong list and 5x5 thing, of course you'll build muscle from it, right? You're still lifting heavy weight, but you want a program that also hits the beach muscles, so to speak, the arms. So you want some accessory movements in there for the arms, the shoulders, some ab work, right? Maybe a little bit higher volume. So pick out a workout program which is there for the purpose of muscle building. Like strong list 5x5, those are like very strength focused programs, right? And again, you will build muscle from them, of course you will, right? But why not just pick the program and such that'll take you right to the goal where you're trying to go? Just pick that from the start and run with it, right? Now, the next thing I remember, and this is before I even started fitness, right? I was hyper obsessed with, how I looked basically, because I got into the fitness game largely due to insecurities, right? I was very insecure about my face, my physique, literally everything about me. And I was like, okay, I can't do anything about the face. Let's do something about the physique, right? That's how I was thinking. But I remember my dad, like one day he brought home like this box of donuts, right? So they're sitting on the counter. I open the box, I eat every single one, right? And that would happen every once in a while when I'd have like my binge eating type of moments, right? And I wake up the next morning, I'd be looking at my face in the mirror. Oh, did I put on face fat, bro? Did I lose the jawline, bro? Like, this is how I was thinking. And this leads me to the next point I want to make. Don't be so scared of putting on some weight, right? I understand this was one of the hardest things for me to overcome. And when I talk to other guys, this seems to be one of the hardest things to overcome, which is when you bulk, you do put on fat, and it's just a part of the process, right? Yes, you will lose like the aesthetic jawline. If you have abs, they may get less defined, or you may lose them completely during the later ends of your bulk, right? This will happen, but it's short-term pain for long-term gain. Look, the hard thing is building muscle. Do that first, knock it out of the way. Bulk, 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 bulk. There's so because I was so hyper obsessed with being lean, I'd bulk for a little bit and then cut right away. Bulk for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, cut right away. And with this, I spun my wheels for so long. And I greatly made the process of building muscle much longer than it needed to be, right? I could have made it a lot shorter if I just focused on bulking. Bulk at the start, build the muscle. Building muscle is the hard part. Losing fat is easy. So do the hard work first and build the foundation of muscle. Now, next thing I remember is, again, I was in the fitness game at this point, and I was bulking, and I was, I hadn't met my caloric intake for the day. So I put together like a mash shake, put in oatmeal, peanut butter, protein powder, everything in this, blending it up. It's like 12 a.m. or something. It's like midnight, really late at night. And I drink it, and then I go to sleep. And I'll wake up at like 3 a.m. I'm borderline puking out oats, right? Like there was literally like, I felt like I was puking and like a few oats came out, right? The point I'm making here is I didn't really care about my sleep whatsoever. I was like, again, shoving food down at the last minute. Some days I'm sleeping 6 hours, some days 8 hours, some days I'm sleeping at like 5 a.m., some days at like 1 a.m., some days, like it's all over the place, my sleep schedule. And sleep is one of the most underrated factors when it comes to muscle building. So, or even fat loss, in fact. So that's my next point here. Don't neglect your sleep. I understand that just as being, as a young guy, you may be going out or you may just have other responsibilities, of course, school, work, like life can be hectic. So building a good sleep routine is very, very tough. And I can appreciate that. But it's also to a certain extent, or to a large extent, honestly, a non-negotiable, right? Sleep is one of the most underrated factors when it comes to this muscle building, fat loss stuff. We have more than enough research around it at this point. So do the best you can. Of course, if you're working overnight shifts or something, like I understand, right? So do the best that you can with the current workload and things you have going on in your life. But having a good sleep schedule will be a game changer and a borderline non-negotiable, in my opinion, if not a non-negotiable. Now, next thing I just want to say, hey, be kind to yourself throughout this process. This is not an easy journey, right? Whatsoever. Like my background is I got into this fitness stuff just because like out of deep, deep, deep insecurity, right? I didn't like my face, didn't like my physique. But I even had insecurities around my skin color, right? Because I'm an immigrant kid. So I came from Pakistan, now I'm in Canada. I was like, oh, people over here even be attracted to someone of my skin color, right? I was insecure. Anything you can be insecure about, I was insecure about. In fact, let me tell you a story. I remember this one girl I was seeing at the time, this is a few years ago now, and we're texting, right? And I'd seen her back and forth a few times. And she sends me a text, and this is like ingrained in my brain, that text. She's like, you're a pretty good looking guy. I don't understand why you're so insecure all the time. And the point I'm making here is my insecurity ran so deep that it perpetuated in everything I did. It was extremely, extremely obvious if you looked at me from the outside that how insecure I was about myself. And like I literally cannot quantify how insecure I was, and that's what led me to start this fitness journey, right? And I was constantly like battling these demons, so to speak, battling these insecurities inside as I was going along the fitness journey. So I understand that it's not easy. It's not easy to go through this, right? And just mentally, it can be a tough thing. And this is why mentally bulking was very tough for me as well, right? It's like, oh, I'm already insecure about myself, and now I have to look worse before I can look better, right? It seems counterintuitive. So if you're coming from a similar background to me, I can definitely understand and appreciate how difficult it is. So again, it's not easy. Be kind to yourself throughout this process. Be proud of yourself every single day for showing up. Because guess what? This is something 99.9% of people around you aren't doing, let's be honest, right? Like this fitness thing, having a dedicated fitness regimen, having your sleep right, having your nutrition right, 99.9% of people aren't doing it. You're one of the few who are doing it, all right? Be kind to yourself, be proud of yourself, and let's keep pushing and keep growing, all right? Now I just want you to imagine for a second. Imagine that you take this advice, you stick with it. And if you're again in a similar situation to the old me, where one of your motivations is improving your dating life, because I remember so vividly back then, I had like basically no dating life all throughout elementary school, high school, college, and that's also what motivated me to get into it. And I was on like all the dating apps, and I'm checking them every 2 minutes. Oh, did I get a match? Did I get a message? Like, there's nothing there, bro. There's nothing, right? So now I want you to imagine that you've gone from that place to getting all the attention you ever wanted on all the dating apps, social media apps, because you look phenomenal. You got slabs of muscle on you at this point. But even more importantly than that, I want you to imagine that your own self-esteem and confidence is growing day by day by day. Whereas once before you didn't like what looked back at you in the mirror, and now you're damn proud of what you've built. Imagine that. And that's the path you're on. Hey, keep working hard. I believe in you, but frankly, what I believe doesn't matter. What you believe matters. So I hope you believe in yourself too. And that's all I got for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Ultimately, I want this to be our positive little community where we help each other, support each other, and help each other get to the next level in life. So please come join the community. I'll leave my Instagram, TikTok somewhere here. Please do support there as well. Please do like, comment, subscribe. I'll talk to you later. Peace.